Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and this time we're playing Bystial Dragonmaid. Yes, you heard it here, folks. The deck that goes into Seal's Pass and is okay with it. So we have a little bit of spice in the deck, as you guys might notice if you guys aren't looking really into detail on what we have in the deck. But we're running like this small Mirror Jade package, mainly because we run a Fallen of Albaz. If you're wondering, Fatsoid, that seems a little weird. You're not even running Branded Fusion. Well, we have Heretical Seal. So if your opponent has two cards on the field, let's say they have a Synchro or a Link monster, like a Sprite Elf or something like that, you can use Heretical Seal, bounce one of their cards, and then you can summon Fallen of Albaz out of the deck and then use a fusion from Fallen of Albaz to go into Mirror Jade. So that's one of the combos, and the second card that's pretty interesting is the Bystial Albalos. Not going to say we usually go into this card, but it could come up if you open enough Bystial cards, and the effect is extremely powerful. It shuts down pretty much all Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Exe, and Link monsters on the field. This is very important to note. This does not affect Heretical Seal, because Heretical Seal leaves the field when it tributes itself. So it's a pretty powerful effect, and your Heretical Seal plays around it. It's the only thing that's bad with is if you go into Dragonmaid Bystial, it's obviously not the greatest. The deck has a lot of kind of versatility in the sense that you can kind of change the game plan of what you're trying to do quite frequently, and you can change it kind of depending on what you got. Yeah, you usually go into seals, but what you search off of seals definitely can change from match to match, so should be pretty interesting. I don't even think there's even pointful to do a combo guide, because the combo is pretty fucking simple. Pretty much you want to get, if you can, your best opening hand. You should be able to get I guess if you have a crazy cracked opening hand, you can get Albalos out and stuff, but for the most part, your fields that you're going to have is going to be Heretical Seals with Branded Beast and Branded Regain, with a few Bystials in your hand. And sometimes you can go into Dragonmaid Bystial as well, and so you have a negate, a bounce, and kind of a lot of interaction there. So let's get into some games and we'll see how the deck actually goes. Hello and welcome to game number 1. We got Nerby Duke. I wish his name was Nerby Derby. But as you can see, our hand is pretty awkward. So our opponent's going to be playing Moye. They get the token, and we are going to flip up Super Poly. Also, I want to also point out, Bystials are actually not the greatest in this matchup, because the only light darks really you can hit is Vishuda and Ashuna. So it's really not the greatest. So you just using your Bystial to send him to graveyard at this point really doesn't matter. But we're going to go into Garura. We're going to use the Bystial Saronir to send Pizza Hut to the graveyard. So you might be saying that's really bizarre, but we have Regain, so I want to get the value off of Regain to bring back the Pizza Hut. You do get punished if your opponent does have a Bystial of their own, but these decks usually, if they do play Bystial, they're playing 1, 2, 3. They're not playing a ton of them in the deck. So he uses Pod Desires here, goes down 10 cards. There is the Long Yawn. Boom, we get the Regain. Here comes Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is going to get ashed. Then we activate Dragonmaid Tidying, and it gets stopped pretty much from Heavenly. He's going to go into Yazi, and so it's very important when your opponents do, this is where game knowledge comes in. Your opponent goes into Yazi, so the only thing Yazi does is it pops itself and pops a card on the field. He's not going to pop Garura, because that would just be really stupid, so he's going to pop my Regain. So for me to get value off of Regained, I summon Drew's Room. So there we go. Now Regain lets me shuffle back. Boom, draw. And he pops my Regain, which is fine. Here comes Taya. Now, there's two things our opponent can do. Well, there's multiple things our opponent could do, and I think he ends up picking the worst one possible, to be completely honest. He goes into Draco Berserker Pentennier, which is really just dumb to go into. And I'll explain why. First of all, he went into Boxia. Boxia just sends back both my cards. I get no value out of it. and he keeps the Boxia on the field, or he can use it later to like do something with it. If he goes into Yugioh at least lets him search. He can search Protoss, and Protoss like is really strong against this deck. He calls Dark. I'm kind of fucked. So I mean, there's a few things he could do, but I guess he just decided to go this for some reason. Kills. Again, I get to draw. And another thing that's important, he doesn't activate the banish effect because it doesn't negate. So he can't activate during like damage step, and then so Drew's gets to send it without him even banishing it. So it's pretty neat. And he just gave me a bunch of targets for my Bystial, so this is great for me. So here I go Dragonmaid. Honestly, I'm actually kind of thinking like maybe I can try and OTK him. And here we go, Heretical Seals. Alright, so this is a massive misplay, by the way, on my part. So, you're supposed to, with this card, you're always supposed to bring back Parlor. Because with bringing back Parlor, you're able to send the same attributes. So you can send the 1 wind, 2700 attacking card to the graveyard. It still wouldn't have changed the fact. I don't think I would have still OTK'd or anything. But it's just good to do so you have it in the graveyard at least. Thins out the deck too, which is nice. So I deal 35, then we activate Pot of P. And here we hit Rebellion, which is a great follow-up. We Pot of P after because it cuts our damage in half, and I don't think I could have really done much more than 3,500. Here comes Rebellion. We set the Branded Beast. Branded Beast has regained. Remember, he popped it, and then we grab Drew's Worm again. So our board's really pretty solid for stopping him. I honestly troll a little bit here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So first thing, he goes to Shuna, which is fine. I let this happen. He goes into Monk. I'm gonna banish the Ashuna before I can use it, and then I'm gonna draw a card. He has a Tenyi to hand. He has Vishuda. He summons Vishuda. I'm just gonna pop so I can pop both cards. Now here, you should 100% always, like, Pot of Desires, just negate it. I should have just negated with Shio. I don't because I'm a troll. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, let's, like, fucking see what... He's got 4 cards left in the deck. I'm like, let's see what he does. He ends up getting a Drew's Worm, which actually proves to be really annoying, so I have to negate that. And then I get to bounce the Taya. And then he goes into Protoss, which is crazy, which he probably drew into from the Pot of Desires, or else he would have done that last turn. So, yeah, kind of fucking crazy. Here comes our little pair, but we can out this card super easy because of Drew's Worm. Like, we have, like, a super big out right here. Like, we summon Drew's Worm. We draw a card, pop the back row, and then this can get rid of that. And here's another thing where, again, we had lethal, but I'm not, like, I literally am not thinking. If you guys don't know where the lethal is, you activate Changeover again, you go into Xiao will, and then you can normal summon Parlor. Even though Parlor has no targets, when you go into combat, you bring back the Lord Pierre, and you have way more than enough lethal. So that was a misplay, but again, he has like nothing. I'm not even thinking this is a threat, and it wasn't a threat. I have double tidying plus this is like, I feel like there's no way we lose, but just saying, we did miss lethal like once. Hello, we're here with game number 2, and our hand is unplayable going first, so it's a good thing we're going second. So here, I actually, since he revealed that one card, I already know what in his mind he's like, oh man, this is gonna be a sick play. If I use Chun Jun to dodge this Imperm, it's gonna be sick. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I can max C and draw 2 cards. That sounds pretty enticing to me. If my opponent has Ash though, I get absolutely bodied. But at this point, my hand's so bad, I kind of have to take a risk. Because remember, Bystials are pretty bad against this, so I kind of just YOLO it. He falls for what I'm trying to do. I mean, he's not really falling, he's doing the right play. But And here, draw 2. He's gonna add Golden Swordsoul. Here's this, and my hand is literally unplayable. Isn't that neat? So I set a card and pass because I cannot play a single card in my hand. I maxi his opener. I'm just waiting to draw a card I can actually play. Pretty cool. And this is like, I'll talk about this in the recap, but this is like one of the weak points of the deck. Like, seriously weak points. It's like, your deck revolves so much around the Bystials, like, being good. Like, if your opponent's just not playing a deck that, like, gets affected by Bystials, you're kind of getting cucked the entire time. So, we go into Mirror Jade. Now we activate Branded Beast. Boom. We're just going to start popping off here. Boom. And he is dead. Never mind, he's not dead. The Golden Swordsoul. Fuck. Here we go into a tab. So he is going to concede here though. But pretty much we're going to go into, we're going to try and set up Heretical Seal with the negate from changeover. And we would have gotten Regain 2 on top of all that, which would have been pretty nutty. And we would have got Bystial follow-up because of the Pizza Hut. So it would have been sick. Hello, we're here with game number 3 against this face guy, so pretty neato. We're going to call by this guy Stovey Torby because he has 2 of them in the graveyard. And then I get to banish the other one, which is hilarious to me. I don't understand why you would ever do this play unless you are playing Kuklok. Unless you have Kuklok. So, to me, personally, that says he has Kuklok in hand. And I'm playing all these Bystial cards. I'm feeling pretty good about dealing with him. He's going to activate Maxi. I'm going to activate Ash. I mean, he's on a 2-card hand now. We know what deck he's playing, so shit can go sideways real quick. His Heretical Seals, pass. Really my specialty at this point. Heretical Seals, pass. There's Ariana. She adds Lady. Lady gets summoned. Goes into battle. I bounce back to Lady. I'm saying, fuck you. There's my chamber. We're getting the fusion. Sets a card. We're going to special summon the yellow. And then yellow's going to send. So this was an actual, like, super big fuck up. I meant to send another tidying, but for some reason I clicked on hospitality. I don't know why. It meant to be another tidying, but it should be fine regardless. So we're going to add Drew's Room. I'm going to activate Changeover. I activate Changeover because if this is like a welcome or something, he has to activate it like immediately. He does not activate it, which is a little sussy to me. And now I activate Dragonmaid. Boom. And here's Rebellion. There's Beast. Boom, boom. Bounce, bounce. Attack. 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 Alrighty. We're going to tribute. Pop the Gozamax. I just let the Gozamax resolve because it only sends 1 card to the graveyard. I was like, okay, that's fine. Shio resurrects a card on his standby phase anyway. So I was like, alright. And I get my regain back. And I don't have to waste my negate. So it's really important. There's Parlor. He's going to go into battle with the evenly match. I'm going to negate it. He's just going to concede. I don't know what he thought. Maybe he thought I would not click it. I'd forget to click it, but I don't know. Hello, we're here with game number 4. And we're again, I want to say it's Juan, but it's not. It's more like Chan. Like if you're pronouncing this like to do like Shizhao and stuff, it's like Chan, I think. But yeah, we get rid of his Chandelier. Activates Big Welcome. I have the Ash, so I'm just really good at the game. Personally, we activate a Pot of Pea. We're looking for anything. We find Drew's Room. Honestly, it didn't matter what we found there. Just any Bystial would have been fine. Here's Heretical Seal. Now here comes Drew's Room. He activates Dogmatika Punishment, which is kind of annoying. To me personally, like he had Elder Entity, I'm pretty sure. So I was like kind of confused why he didn't just like send Elder Entity, because he could have got rid of Heretical, which is actually a really strong card for me. Maybe he doesn't think it's strong. I don't know. Alright, so I'm gonna maxi this. He's gonna call by it. which is actually not the horrible because it means my Heretical Seals doesn't get hit. I do draw a card here too and get my Drew's Room back. And it's hilarious because he literally just called by me and now he's like, Maxi! You just called by my Maxi. Maybe he let both of ours resolve. So here's Heretical Seal. And then boom. This is gonna send that. Boom, add to hand. I mean, this guy is like cooked. He's like absolutely cooked right now. I do this on purpose because I'm like, well, if he does this, it brings back my Saranir and I get to draw a card, so I do this on purpose. Bam, bam. I Super Poly. I get rid of this because I know he's going to use obviously the pop. I can use Xiao Negate. So now, we got our Lord Power back, and we're attacking, and he leaves the game. Very sad for us. We are back with the 5th and final game against Epic, and this is going to be an epic one. They're going first with Tearlaments, but we do have like one Bystial in hand. I hit them early. I'm like, goodbye, rat. He normal summons Havness. He goes into Kikalios. Adds him early. Summons him early. Even though I negated it. Not sure why he would do that. Wait, did I negate it? No, I didn't negate it. I just Bystialed it. Yeah, that was still... He milled a ton of cards. The thing is, he didn't mill... The cards that he milled were good. Like... But he didn't mill like any of his other ones. Yeah. So he kind of bricked hard on those mills. Now he brings back Maxi. This is hilarious. Top deck Lubellion, which was a great draw for us. He goes into Maxi, which is annoying. I'm going to use Fallen of Albaz here to go into Mirror Jade. I'm pretty much going to be looking to try and kill him this turn. But I do let him draw 2 cards. And he ends up drawing Kelbeck. Off the 2 cards, he has Kelbeck. So, this would have been lethal if not, because I just popped this and attack with everything at 8,000. But Kelbeck does complicate things a lot. If you're wondering why I didn't play Regain first, that was probably the biggest misplay I ever could have done in my life. But, it is what it is. I was also thinking like I might have needed it for the Super Poly to try and go for the OTK, but there was just no angle. Yeah, if I kept the Maxi on board, I could have gone to Mud Dragon, but it's just still not enough damage. I'm still off by like 1,000, 1,100. So we just play it slow. We have a Bystial in hand. Play Sharon. He sends Snow. He has Keldo in the graveyard too. There's Merrily. There's Rhinoheart. Now we hit the Havness. He hits the Keldo. This is fine. So, a lot of times, it's so funny, because a lot of times when opponents do this, you're kind of like, damn it, I can't get my Bystial off. But, like, this case, it actually doesn't really matter, and I'm going to explain why. First things first, is like, he still does the whole, like, it stops the fusion, right? And secondly, we have Super Poly. So, what we could do, technically, is use Super Poly, discard Baldrake, and when he goes into a card, right, Regain will bring back the Baldrake. So, Baldrake will be able to do what it wants to do, still. So, it's really not the end of the world, so... And here he activates Snow. There's Duragus. He's digging into his deck. He only's got like 7 cards left. There's a Drew's Room. I let him. There's just not much I can do about it. Shuffle the Albaz back. Draw a card. And here's another. This is a massive misplay by him. So he goes into this just to kill the Saranir. When did he discard? I guess he discarded both his other bottle cards. I guess it wasn't that big of a misplay. But I feel like just letting me get a card off of this is kind of silly. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I am wrong. Never mind. This is actually good on him. He didn't really have enough. He could have just not done anything if he was just going to do 500 damage. he could have just literally not attacked. Because then I just get the regained anyway. It's kind of pointless. Yeah, it's just bad. There's no reason to attack. And he just gives up. He gives up mainly because, well, he runs out of time. But secondly, like, I just feel like he was lost. And he used so many of the tier names already. They're all in the graveyard. And I wasn't giving him any other effects to, like, activate them. But realistically, I'm pretty positive he just played that well. He should have won this game, like, hard. So, I'm just saying, because, like, dude, he had Sprint in the deck. There's plenty of cards he could have gone into to start getting the ball rolling. Because I really had not much. I was kind of just banking that Super Poly did something. So, and Super Poly's pretty bad against tier, so... let's get to the recap and we'll talk all the... Hello and welcome to the recap. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. It helps it out greatly. And if you don't like the content, please subscribe anyway, because I am desperate. So also join our Discord. We're 500 plus people strong, and we have tournaments that happen every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, so it's pretty lit in there. And we do the duel replays and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So link up for that is down below. Now, how did this deck perform? I'm gonna be real, guys. You know I'm always real. My thumbnails might always be a lie, but when I get to this recap, I'm always telling the truth. So, a few things to note. The deck's pretty fun. It's still, like, relatively fun, right? But at the same time, it just feels like you're playing a bad Dragon Link deck. Like, you're playing a Dragon Link deck without any of the good Dragon Link payoff cards, right? Secondly, this deck gets absolutely, for a deck running a lot of Bystials, this deck gets absolutely eviscerated by Bystials. So what do I mean by that? Heretical Seal is absolute liability, even though it's our best card to go into when we go first. Pretty much get Heretical Seal, and you activate the effect to bounce something. If your opponent chains a Bystial immediately to the Heretical Seal, assuming you have another monster on the field. They can't, obviously, if you don't have a monster on the field, but if you do, what ends up happening is your Heretical Seal doesn't even get the search out a deck effect off, which doesn't feel very good. Also, like, if you're playing against other Bystials, obviously you're having like that little Bystial war where like they're taking out yours, you're taking out theirs. Regained does help in that, but if they have their regained up, it gets really annoying. So yeah, I mean, it really just comes down, you know what it comes down to? It comes down to, like, why aren't you just playing Dragon Link? Like, just play Dragon Link. Like, first of all, the Dragonmaid cards aren't even that good. And you can play Dragonmaid in Dragon Link if you really want to push it. It's just, it's not going to be the main focal point of the deck, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be playing, like, maybe like one or two the chamber dragon maids, and maybe like, or one or two of these with like one or two of these in the deck. Like, you don't really play like a huge package of dragon maid cards. Like, we're playing a decent package here where we have at least like what, 6, 7, 8, 11. We're playing 12 dragon maid cards in the main deck, and then we got like 3 in the extra deck. It's it's like more than 25% of the deck, and it's just a straight liability. You're just way better off just playing Dragon Link. So unfortunately, this is probably not what you want to hear, but if you're playing in like low elo, like low MMR, like, dude, I was struggling in D3. To give you an idea of like what struggling in D3 for me is like, I was playing a deck that's not like crazy good. Like, it's like kind of like it's like super rogue, like Infernoid, and we climbed super fast with Infernoid. This deck was like impossible to do that. Like, we would win, lose, win. It was like a 50% win rate, to be honest. Maybe even a little less. We didn't derank though, so it could have been worse. But I think we didn't derank solely because of the Bystial cards. The Bystial cards in the matchup where the Bystial cards are good, obviously they carried the game. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't waste your... I mean, I think the Dragonmaid, like, the Dragonmaid structure deck's still worth getting because Heretical Seal's a really good card that you do actually play in Dragon Link. And I think they have like 1 or 2 other cards, like the Darkness Metal Dragon, I think might come from there and stuff. But I wouldn't like look too deep into trying to make Dragonmaid work, where it's like a good deck. And when I say a good deck, I mean like when you're playing against tier every matchup, you're just gonna get steamrolled. They're doing like, because this is the thing, the Dragonmaid cards are doing very fair things. Right? You're doing very fair shit with this card, but your opponents are doing very unfair shit with their cards. So what that ends up meaning is you're getting your ass clapped, and there's no safe word. So take that as you will. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give the deck like 5.5, 6 maybe. I'll give it a 6. I think 5.5 is too mean. But you know what? I'll give it even a 6.5 just because we didn't D rank with it. But it wasn't great. It wasn't great. This made me tired. I don't know if you could tell. I'm tired right now. I'm normally not tired at this time of recording. I'm exhausted from playing this shit. I only play this shit for a few hours because that's what this deck does to you. It exhausts you. I feel like I aged 10 years playing this deck, all to please this woman. Is she worth it? I don't think she is. You guys might be at home saying, damn, I don't got a girlfriend. She is worth it. She's so sexy, dude. I'm telling you right now, this bitch is whack. She ain't doing shit for you. You want to get a real woman? You want to get a real woman? Here's a real woman. Get that woman. This is a real woman. This is a woman that can please you. It's like she knows what it's like to be you. All right? I don't know why this conversation went this way. But on a tier scaling, I'm going to put it in Garbo tier. I'll say it's rogue, but it's really not that rogue. It's pretty much, I'm going to say garbage tier, but like with a surprise twist, because your opponent's going to think you're playing Dragon Link, and then they're like, oh, surprise, it's garbage. And they're like, oh, the Dragon Link player bricked. Even though we're going to end on Seal's Pass, and they're going to think Dragon Link bricked. Haha. When realistically, we're like, yeah, we got our best end board out. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry if it wasn't up to your snuff. But, yeah, I just don't think the deck's very good. So, alright, I hope you guys have a great one. And I'm looking forward to playing with Kashtira soon. And hopefully ninjas are coming out soon, too. I'll be pretty happy about that. Alright, goodbye.